Okay, so your problem here is an inequality word problem. A rental company charges $40 per day to rent a car and 0.08 or 8 cents for every mile driven. Justin wants to rent a car knowing that he will have to drive 125 miles and he only has a maximum of $170 to spend. Okay, so if you think about this, the total cost. Okay, so let's think about this first. The total cost is made up of the cost on miles, okay, plus the cost on days, right? Okay, so meaning if you have to pay 8 cents per mile and you have 125 miles, so for the first part, how much will it cost to drive 125 miles? So this is just a matter of multiplying really 125 miles times 0.08, so that's going to be $10. Okay, so we'll take $10 to based on the 125 miles, but number of days, we don't really know how many number of days, right? So if we say let D equals the number of days, okay, then the the total cost of days will be 40D. So that means if Justin drove 2 days, then it'll be 40 times 2, which is 80, which makes sense, right? Because it's $40 per day. But we don't really know how many days. So we will represent that number of days with D. And however number of days it is, we will multiply by 40. So therefore, your total cost here will be the cost per miles, which is 10 plus 40D. Okay. Now, but you don't really have a specific value in there because it says at most. So at most means a maximum of 40. So we will erase this equal sign. Okay. So that means you get this cost has to be equal or less than 170. That's all you can have. It cannot be greater than 170. So it could be equal to 170, but it cannot be greater than 170, but it can be less than, it could be equal, but not greater than 70. That's what at most means. Now, if it says at least, then you will use greater than or equal. Okay, so the question here is write and solve an inequality which can be used to determine the number of days Justin can afford to rent while staying within his budget. So this is that inequality. This is that question right there. Now, if to find out, so that's the answer actually. Now, if the question is how many days, then we'll just have to solve, right? So 10 plus 40D is less than or equal to 170. Subtract 10 minus 10. So you have 40D is less than or equal to 160 I forgot the D. Divided by 40 divided by 40. So the D is less than or equal to 4. So he can drive maximum of 4 days, okay, for this 125 miles. Then he will be within his budget.